Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today I've got more LED pars than can fit on a table. Now let's start off with this question. Are pars really pars? And which one should you buy? Let's dive in. All right, so now that you've waded through that intro, let's break the ice. A PAR, or PAR can, actually stands for something. It's actually an acronym that stands for Parabolic Aluminized Reflector. And what that meant basically is in the old school PAR cans, what I started out with when I was working with lighting, you had a sealed lamp that had a reflector behind the bulb, behind the filament of the bulb. It was actually part of the bulb. And that's what defined what a PAR was. Now, LEDs came to the scene and we started getting all these wash lights that manufacturers brought out and generally mimicked a old school PAR, right? Because what you see in these lights is you have a round face, okay? You have a round output of light, and that's not because it's more effective. That's not because really it's, you know, the best way to light. It simply is the shape that lighting designers have always worked with and lighting people, and so why rock the boat? Obviously today we can get wash lights in all sorts of shapes. Generally, they're strip lights, they're square, or they're round. But if a manufacturer decided to make a triangle wash fixture, it would work just fine. And it could look pretty cool too, so you could steal that if you're watching. But let's talk about pars today. Because when you look at LED pars and you go, oh, I'm gonna go buy a PAR, I need this for my facility, what have you, what do I get? There's a number of things you want to look at and a number of ways to decide. And you might start to look at it and go, hey, there are pars that are literally, you know, like $150, okay? There's even cheaper ones. There's $30 ones. Don't buy those. But, you know, there are pars that are down at the cheaper end, you know, within the $100 to $200 range at the time of this recording. And then there are pars, like I don't have any on this table, that cost more than $1,000, right? And you go, wow, how is one of these 10 times the cost of the other one? What goes into it? What do I want to look for when I'm considering a PAR, etc.? So what I want to do here is just go down the chain, go in price order on these fixtures, show you what you get at different price points, what to look for, what to care about. Okay, so first up, guys, we've got probably the least expensive PAR we ever recommend, and this is the Eliminator LP42. I'm going to turn it on and just get it into some sort of auto program mode. And here's what you get at the cheapest end of what we recommend. Okay, you're going to see, first of all, we've got some haze in the room. You get a very narrow beam out of this fixture, okay? It's very narrow, the light coming out of it. Number two, as you can see, the LEDs, let's find a good angle for it. The LEDs are all separate, right? So there are, on this fixture, there are red, green, blue, and white LEDs, but they're not homogenized, meaning that when you have a color like magenta, right, that has, gonna have, whoop, let's go over to a better camera, like magenta, right, that it's gonna scroll through here and you're gonna get to that. And magenta has red and blue, right? And as you see, when you go to colors that are mixed, one, they don't always mix as well in the beam. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But two, if you have this behind someone on a stage, right, you have this as backlight or what have you, there's a good angle, you're gonna see all of those different LEDs. Okay, and then the third part is that typically, let's find a spot on the wall to shine this, typically you get a pretty bright hot spot. You can see on camera there, the center blows out, and then there's a lot of edge. There's a lot of area where the light kind of scatters and it's not super well controlled, but when you're on a budget, when things are tight, sometimes that just makes sense. Okay, the other things to note is when you're looking at any PAR, some are going to be fan cooled, Some are going to be non-fan cooled. And some on the higher end will still be fan cooled, but you won't be able to hear it. This one, for example, if I put it close to the microphone, you can hear the fan has a fairly good noise level to it. It's not silent by any means. And as the LEDs turn on and off, you hear like a little high-pitched, almost whine as that happens. Okay, that's going to happen on the lower end. It's something that you know, you have to take into account if you're looking for a budget fixture. Okay, so again, good fixture, we like it. It's from Eliminator Lighting, which is an ADJ brand. It's a good fixture, and even if there's issues, like recently we had a customer that got some of these, had some issues, they took care of them. ADJ said, hey, we found the issue, we fixed it, we're replacing the units. So that's why we always recommend buying from a brand if you get it through Lawrence Stage Lighting Gear or if you get it somewhere else, but buying through a brand that has that US backing that's going to take care of you. It might cost a little more on the front end, but you're going to get something that lasts longer and you're going to get support, which is key if anything does happen. Okay? Next, we've got the LP12 Hex from Eliminator. This is cool. Just to illustrate the point here, once the power's on, find a good auto program. Yeah. That, compared to the last one, we have homogenized LEDs, okay? So all of the color that comes out of these LEDs all comes out the same. So that if you have this in a backlight position, right, this is lighting someone, you can see it from the audience just like you can see it from me right now. Boom, okay? You get everything the audience member, the person sees out of the lens matches, okay? And more often than not, that's what we recommend people going with. We don't often recommend going with separate LEDs like that LP42 from Eliminator. That just hits like a really low price point. And sometimes, you know, that's what you need. But if you have the money to spring for something just a little bit nicer, boy, we really do recommend that. Okay. But again, this fixture is literally the same build, same casing, has fans, a little bit of funky digital noise when it dims in and out on the LEDs. Overall, not a bad fixture. Okay. You know, on the build quality side too, before we leave, these less expensive PARs have IC non-locking type plugs, though there is a power pass-through on these. We'll just click over here. DMX 3-pin in and out, basic, you know, menu. Not a huge deal. This guy as well, being a hex LED, means that across the power of the LED, it is shared across red, green, blue, white, amber, and UV. That means when it's shared with UV, you can get yourself, actually I'll bring it up here, you can get yourself kind of a low level UV effect. Like, it's not going to blow your mind, okay? But here it is with just UV for an occasional UV effect, you know, nothing super bright. I know I don't have anything that's really going to fluoresce here. It's going to be a very visible UV. It's not going to be like where you can't see the purple, but you see the things pop from the light. It's not going to be like that. But for an occasional UV use to richen some colors, etc., it can work. Next, let's go ahead to this guy is an interesting little par here. Okay, so you might look at this, and if you've been around our channel, actually let me turn it on here. If you've been around our channel here, yeah, you got a nice blue on it. If you have been around our channel from some time, you might say, oh, that is the Starburst par from Gamma LED Vision, which is an awesome par that we recommend and we love. Okay, the Starburst par is awesome. This is actually a small step down from the Starburst par, but a really cool par for those smaller spaces. Okay, what makes it interesting? Well, this one has a 25-degree beam. You can kind of see it in the haze, though it's starting to dissipate a little bit. There's some haze around, though. We also have it available in a 45. So this is, I forgot to tell you the name, this is the Deminarpar S. What this is, full, just simple disclosure, because I don't hide anything from anybody, is this is a fixture that we bring in. It's a waterproof fixture, but you can use it indoors too. that's completely silent, has a nice beam of light, good colors. It has 7 10-watt RGBW LEDs in it, and hits a really good budget price point. Okay, Gamma makes it, but we are the only people that have it here at Learn Stage Lighting Gear and at Learn Christmas Lighting, our other site. Okay, so this guy's really cool because you won't see the Gamma logo on it. You'll see a little Christmas tree because it is outdoor rated. So it has on the back of it attached wires. Okay, so the attached wires are for DMX signal and power in and through. It then comes with the adapters to take this little waterproof plug, this is the power through, or the DMX plug, and adapt it to a standard 3-pin DMX, a standard Edison power. You can also extend these. Okay, simple LED display. It's not the brightest thing in the world, but it works. It has some simple functions for colors, no auto programs, but overall is like a really nice par. Okay, so we compare these a lot to the Starburst par from Gamma LED Vision. It's very similar, it looks similar, it performs similar. It's a little bit less bright. It has those attached cables, which is kind of a con for anybody doing live production, like you're setting up and tearing down all the time. Sometimes these plastic connectors, you can damage them and whatnot. But if you are a permanent install on a budget, you want to look at this fixture. Why? Well, you know, each of these attached cables is about 3 feet long. That means you can put the fixtures about 6 feet apart without having to buy any DMX cables. They're really good value. They're silent, okay, no funky noises when they dim, no fans, and they look really good. Okay, so that's the Deminarpar S. We'll be sure to link to that as well as everything below. And it's really a very similar par, just like in look and feel for YouTube's sake, as the Gamma Starburst par. The Gamma Starburst is just a little bit different, and it's a par we like a lot, and we do sell a lot of it at Learn Stage Lighting Gear, and we've had one failure once out of the box, little quality control thing, no biggie, and we replaced it right away. But these pars have been just bulletproof for us, both the Starburst par from Gamma or the Deminarpar S, which is a little more value priced, not quite as bright, but we do have a 45 and a 15 or 25. We'll check the website degree option on those. So even if you're like a small music venue, small church, etc., you want something nice, like significantly nicer than this, but you don't want to spend a ton of money, the Deminarpar S is an awesome, awesome, awesome choice. Okay. The Starburst from Gamma, this is actually the Gamma Econ, but it's very similar. On the back of it is going to have one, the LEDs are a little bit brighter, okay? And two, what you get on the Starburst is, this is again the Gamma Econ, which is a battery powered one, but you get a power input that's a power con, you get DMX in and out on the back, etc. Let's talk about this one, okay? So next we have the Gamma Econ par, okay? This is a really nice one. This is actually technically the older model that I've got shown here, but that's okay. And the Econ, we like the Econ. I'm just gonna put this guy on the floor. We like the Econ a lot because of a couple things. Number one, it is a wireless battery-powered wireless DMX par. So if you do live events, setups, going wireless can make a lot of sense. Being able to dial a color or a animation in manually, like I've got here. We'll go to an animation. I believe that's an animation. We'll find out in a second. Being able to go to a color or an animation like this can be super duper helpful. And I love the par type setup for these, and customers of ours have loved these because now it's not just an uplight that you point straight up at a wall and get a streak of light on the wall, right? It's also, you know, a light that you can shine on different objects, light trees, light bushes, light brick walls with, go, you know, cross them, etc. Unlike the uplight units that only do up. If you do a ton of uplighting, those type of units make a lot of sense, okay? And if you keep them busy as uplights, like a lot of the time, get those. But also consider something like this. If you want a wireless battery powered light, you can just put it out there, run it for the entire show, the entire event. You can typically, single color, get 20 plus hours out of these, full color get at least 8, and be ready to rock and roll. The wireless DMX on these is also super cool because they can actually shoot data out to each other. So even if you're in a standalone mode like this, you can set one fixture like this one to that standalone mode, set all the rest of them to DMX address 1, put them on the same wireless channel, which is color coded on the back, and then they're all going to do the same thing. They're just going to match the leader, which is cool. So really great option there. What you look for and what we like is a fanless design. What we like is the fact that it's battery powered, 2.4 gigahertz wireless DMX is built in. It's bright, it looks good. We've gotten these for a bunch of people and everybody loves them. They always rave about them because they're a really good fixture, really solid value. Okay. Last but not least, okay, we have a newer contender. We have the Volex Q par 18IP. Now this is a higher end par. And there's a couple things I really like about it that give it a step above, you know, something like this Econ par from Gamma or the Deminarpar S that we have on the floor, etc., etc. Okay, what do we like just a little bit more about this one? Well, of course, the first thing you're going to see is it's bigger and brighter, right? Like I'll pop on the Econ back on here, and I know our haze is waning because we don't run the haze while we're recording because it's loud. But what we like about the Volex, there's a couple things we like about it. One is that the knobs on the side are really, really nice. Like it's easy to tighten them. They've actually got detents for the stop points, meaning that you're not just using a friction brake, but there's to stop it, but there's actually a little notches that it fits into, which just helps it to be more secure to move less. Okay, the next thing we really like is the interface. So it's got a really nice screen interface. It's actually waterproof, though you can use them indoors, you know, all day long, right? And I also really love that the cables come out the side. Okay, so this is stinking cool. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Okay, and what you get with a lot of LED pars is sometimes when you plug in the DMX cable, depending on the type of DMX connector you have or the power and which way you're pointing it, they will sometimes rub into the yoke below and really cause issues, right? Where you sometimes can't actually stand the light up and make it work. The other thing that's really nice is this, instead of a split yoke design, you see I can pass the connector through, it makes it, if I grab the included DMX cable and plug that in real quick. It is a 5-pin on all Volex fixtures. I can pass that DMX cable under it. Yes, it takes a little bit of effort to get around, but being that it is not a split type yoke, it's just a big old flat, clampable still yoke like this. It's always going to stand nicely and be really secure wherever you put it. Okay, and that's what we like. We also really like the price on these. You know, if you come to us at Learn Stage Lighting Gear, we often do quotes for people. You know, you're going to find out that Volex, you know, the price you see is pretty much the price you get. While we can never promise a discount to anyone or anything based on our pricing contracts with these companies, you know, Volex prices these really, really, really well. And the price you see is going to be really close to the price you get. Okay, that being said, for the price, what you get, the brightness coming out of this light compared to the one next to it, I mean, it's just visually looking at it, it's probably triple the Econ par from Gamma, or the Starburst or anything like that. And it, you know, just has a lot of really great options. Like you can get some different lens filters on the front. It's DMX, it's got RDM, it's got a really nice screen. Like everything about this is a really pro level par, but not quite at the pro level price. It has hex LEDs, and there's 18 of them. They're bright. It looks really good. Okay, so to wrap this up, I know this has been a little long, but I hope you've learned some really great things today about LED pars, how to choose what you need, how to determine what features matter or don't matter to you, and just a really great brief overview of all these, different types you might see out there, and how you can, really best determine what's going to be right for you in your stage. Okay, if this helped you, boom, give it a big thumbs up. Head over to learnstagelightinggear.com if you're in the US, because we would love to help you find that perfect par or wash light that fits your space, fits your budget, and gives you extraordinary results. We love to help people, and we help people every day over there. Just hop over there, email us at gear@learnstagelighting.com, hop over to the site, request a quote, hop over to the contact form. Really doesn't matter. We just love to help people, and we would love to earn your business if you're in the market for any gear and you're in the US. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you on the site. Links to all these products, their reviews, their product pages, everything. It's all going to be below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.